Right now, guys, we have the legendary Hall of Famer, Timothy Bradley, on the phone. Tim, thank you so much for taking the time out. Let's give our brother a round of applause.
My man, what's going on, coach?
Man, Tim, I really appreciate, brother, you taking the time out, man. I know you're a very, very busy man. I have some really good questions for you. You're going to love these questions, I promise you.
Hey, I'll do my best to answer them, baby.
All right,
but I appreciate you on the show, man. I appreciate you allowing me to come on the show.
Yeah, man. I want to let you guys know. Tim don't know what I'm going to ask him, so he hasn't been prepped or anything. You know what I mean? So I just want to let you guys know that. Tim, for those who don't know, let everybody know, how did you get in boxing? Like, how you first got started?
I got started. I wanted to fight. It was around sixth grade. I was 10 and a half. Put it that way. My friend was doing it at the time. We used to always play like boys do, slap boxing. He was like, man, you got some fast hands, man. You should come down to the boxing gym. Begged my dad for about 2 months to take me down there. My dad kept telling me I don't want to get punched in the face. You know, you're a pretty boy. You don't want to get hit in the face, so on and so forth. And finally, my dad actually worked right across the street. So my dad was a sky cat for many years at the airport. And right across the street was a boxing gym. One day, my mom and we picked him up from work, and he was just like, you want to go over to this boxing gym? I was like, yeah. He said, only on one condition. I said, well, what? He said, if you like it, you can't quit. I said, all right, no problem. Let's go. Went down there, man, and the rest is history, man.
Oh, man, I didn't even know that. You boxed for 12 years. You boxed for about 12, 13 years, right?
No, I boxed 23 years altogether with the amateurs. So I did about 10 years of amateurs, and I did about 13 years of professional.
13 years as a pro. Okay, so you boxed for about 13 years. 2-division world champion?
2-division, 5-time world champion. I unified titles twice at 140.
Okay, and now you're a retired Hall of Famer. We know you work for ESPN and stuff like that. You fought. I looked at your resume. You fought the likes of Joel Casamayor. I remember that fight. Devin Alexander. I think you gave Devin Alexander this when he was that guy. I think you gave him his first loss. You gave him his first loss. You fought Lamar Peterson. You fought Manny Pacquiao 3 times. I remember you fought Provodnikov?
Provodnikov.
Yeah, Provodnikov. I remember you fought
Miguel Vasquez.
Yeah, Miguel Vasquez. I remember you fought Juan Marquez, Diego Chavez, Jesse Vargas, Brandon Rios. The question I have is, out of all of those guys you fought, and you fought some great ones, how come you and Floyd Mayweather never fought each other?
Check this out, man. I actually got a call. It was right before the third fight with Manny Pacquiao. And I was in negotiations, and Floyd people called me up, and they were like, hey, you know, Floyd want to fight. Let's do it. You get paid $8 million, so on and so forth. And just letting you know, in the past, I've been promised the world. I was supposed to fight Floyd Mayweather right before I fought against Kendall Hall. So right after that, I was supposed to fight Floyd Mayweather then. And it never materialized. It never happened. My promoter, he promised me that I was going to fight Mayweather. You're going to be happy after this fight. Mayweather's next. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure I win. That didn't happen. So, I've had different promoters and different guys, managers and so on and so forth, tell me that I'm going to get something and it doesn't materialize. If it's not on paper, it doesn't happen.
Right.
And sometimes it can be on paper and it still doesn't happen, But when they called me up, it was like I was writing negotiations with Pac, and I was just like, okay, if he wants to fight me, no problem. All right, I won't sign with Top Rank, but if you put $4 million in my account, because that's what I was made for Pacquiao 3. I made $4.5 million for Pacquiao 3. And I said, put that in my account, wire it. I sent them the wire number, so on and so forth. And they never did. They never did. I said, well, you put your money where your mouth is, then you let me know that you for real. So if the Mayweather fight is really on the table for me, give me $4 million, pay me $4 million a night of the fight, and we all gravy. Everything is all copacetic. But I wasn't going to pass up and be just like Amir Khan. Amir Khan thought he was going to fight Floyd Mayweather, and what happened? He didn't end up fighting him. Adrien Broner ended up fighting him. So I didn't want to be stuck in that situation and taking food off my kids' table. Guaranteed money right out the gate. So I just made a business decision to say, you know what, I'm just going to re-up with Top Rank since it's not going to happen. And I know Top Rank. I've been with them for many years. I respect them. They the ones that pretty much made me rich. But I did somewhat. Some people will say, you had an opportunity and you didn't take it. Well, I probably did, and I'm okay with that. I probably did, and I'm okay with that because, money speaks louder than words.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying that if the Floyd side was serious, they would have put the money, they would have sent the money in escrow or wired you the money.
They would have wired me. They would have wired me the money, $4 million, and then I would have probably jumped ship, no doubt about it. $8 million, no doubt about it. I probably would have done it. No doubt about it.
Is that normally how it works with fighters? When you get ready to fight someone, because our fans want to know what that process is like. A contract is presented. You hear that a fighter wants to fight another fighter. What is the process? Example, like okay, we just saw okay, damn. We have Devin Haney fixing to fight Vicente Lomachenko. They're on the same side of the street, so maybe that's a little different. But what's the process? Hey, my name's Devin Haney. Hey, my name's Vicente Lomachenko. I want to fight you. I want to fight you. Walk us through the process of that. How is that made from a financial standpoint when it comes to the money? We agree on everything.
So each fighter has a guarantee in their contract with the promoter. So it always starts at the guarantee. And then it starts of who is the draw, and that's the reason why, like when you would see Pacquiao Bradley, you would see Pacquiao at the top because he was the draw. So the top name, just know when you see the top name on the billboards or the posters, that's the draw. That's the A side. That lets you know right out the gate. That's the A side. So, you got to see how the split's going to go. One, the network, where network is going to go on. How much money the network's willing to put up. That's important. Sometimes I would say back in the days when I was doing it, it was like almost like 3.5 million with HBO. They will put up that type of funds to be able to pay the fighters and pay the event and so on and so forth. So, and then that money needs to be split. So of course the promoter's going to do his best to try to give you as less as that as possible. Maybe get you around your minimum or a little bit more than your minimum. Depending on who you're fighting, you got to understand that, depending on who you're fighting. So let's say if I was fighting, Tank, for instance. Tank obviously is the draw. He's going to be the A side of things. Okay. Let's say my minimum was $3 million, but then I come in and I say, well, my minimum is $3 million, but this is Tank we talking about, this is pay-per-view, so on and so forth. So then I'll say, all right, well, give me a $6 million guarantee. Or a $10 million guarantee, depending on where I'm at in my career. You got to understand that. Depending on where I'm at, am I the champion? Am I not the champion? That matters. Okay. So then they'll come back and they'll counter and say, no, $8 million. We'll give you $8 million guarantee. And then we'll give you something on the upside. And I'm like, okay, well, what you going to give me on the upside? Typically, when you're on the upside, it's like $5. They'll give you $5 per home, certain amount of pay-per-view buys. So this weekend did what? 1.2 million, I heard. That's crazy.
Where did you hear that from?
I read it on a site. So I see 600, I see 800, I see 1.2 million dollars. My buddy just sent it to me.
Okay.
I think it was on Bleacher Report.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. If it did 1.2 million dollars, that is crazy. That is crazy numbers at $80-something a pop. That's crazy money at the end of the day. So this is how it works. With the upside, understand this. They know how much money, they know how, like the networks know how many sales they're going to get. They know how many pre-sales. They understand the demographic that watches you fight. They understand the people that regulate and look at fights on a regular, like they understand that. So most of the time they'll come in, a promoter will come in and he'll be a little above what you're going to actually sell. So they'll say, okay, well, over 600,000 or over 800,000, you'll get $5 per home after that. And you go, okay, deal. So you'll get your $6 million, say I'll get my $8 million or whatever, but any upside after that, if it doesn't hit that 600,000, over that 600,000, I don't get any money. Okay. I don't get any money at all. Are you following me?
I understand.
Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
So, for me in my career, I was more about the guaranteed money. That's what I was about. I was always about the guaranteed money because I knew the promoter knew exactly what the number was going to be or what they were going to get close to. So then they will lowball me on the number, and I won't get any upside at all. So I would just make sure I get a good guarantee that I was reasonable, that I accepted, and that was reasonable in my opinion.
I get exactly what you're saying, because but basically what you're saying is, if you just trust the promoter can, they may say, like you just said, we got to do at least 600,000 or more in order for you to get what they would like to call back end, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, back end money. Yep.
So the fight can sell, it can do 800-900, but the promoter can say, well, it only did 500,000 or 550,000. You don't get anything. They can lie. So how do you go about making sure that doesn't happen? Do you audit the books, or how do you go about doing that?
Well, that's the difficult part about it. The number comes out, the promoter or your manager knows the number. He gets told by the promoter what the number is. The promoter works with the networks, and the networks tell you what that number is or what it's done. That's just basically it. You can get an email. You can get, you can get the email from the network. You have that ability to get it, but your manager is going to get it from the promoter. At the end of the day, whether they're lying or not, you know what I'm saying? You have no clue. You literally have zero clue. And like, you got to understand that, like, the money, the back end money, it comes in sporadically. It doesn't come in all at once. Like, when you're fighting, and let's say like a network, Direct TV, right? And people have Direct TV and they order the fight. Then you have Dish, and then you have all these other, Comcast and such. Like, you're getting checks. You're waiting for all that money to come in from the pay-per-view, and then you will slowly start getting checks. Sometimes it's 6 months at a time. Sometimes, sometimes it's a year. You'll be receiving money from a year ago from pay-per-view sales, from a fight that happened a few years ago, or a year ago. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it takes time for you to accumulate or acquire that money, man. It just doesn't come all at once. So these guys this weekend, they guaranteed 8 figures. All right. So after the pay-per-view, let's say the pay-per-view hit $1.2 million. I don't have a calculator right now. I can't do the math for 85. What happens with that is that it gets split in half. The promoter gets about, I would say, 50%, sometimes 51%, depending on the deal. And then you have the networks that get the rest of the 50%. Understand that. 50% of that cash gets split in half. It goes to the networks, and then it goes to the promoter. Okay, the rest goes to the promoter. Promoter pays the fighter. Okay, whatever his guaranteed is, whatever after that, then the promoter keeps. And at the gate also, same thing. The promoter can keep the gate as well. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on how your contract is worked out at the end of the day. I remember fighting Pacquiao, and Pacquiao got gate money. He got back end money all the way across the board. Sales, ticket sales, and all. Pacquiao had to buy $1 million worth of seats. He had to buy $1 million worth of seats. Understand that. That's how that works. So a lot of times, you see these packed houses. Well, a lot of those tickets are given away. A lot of those tickets are given away, man. Because you, the promoter, you the fighter, you have to. It's almost like if you're going to be part of the promotion. Guess what? You gotta be part of the promotion. You gotta put up some funds. You gotta put up some money. So, hey, $1 million worth of tickets, whatever you do with it, that's on your business. But you got $1 million worth of tickets that you gotta distribute out. And that's just it. And that's how you're able to pack the house.
What was it like? What was it like fighting Juan Marquez and Manny Pacquiao?
Well, Marquez was tough because I would say he was the second best counterpuncher in the game. Mm-hmm. So when I fought him, it was more just it was like counter to counter. I knew that. I just followed Floyd's blueprint. I watched the fight several times. I said, "Oh, I can do that. I can move. Keep my feet moving, keeping them off balance." And I recognized that Marquez, he had to be set to punch. He didn't like to do anything off the cuff if he didn't feel comfortable, if he wasn't well balanced. And so I'm like, okay, I can run on him. Boom. I could stick him, stab him, move. Stab him, move. He'll try to counter. Boom. And then when I make him miss, and I'll make him pay. I'm a lot quicker. I'm a lot quicker on my feet. It was actually easy. I would say it was probably the easiest paycheck that I ever got. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was easy. he can punch. I know that. He can punch. He hit me with 2 uppercuts in the first round. And dang, I felt it. And I was just like, he ain't going to hit me with those ever again. You know, this entire fight. And he never did land it. But fighting Pacquiao he's just a phenomenal athlete. You know, like I thought I was athletic. No, that dude was special, like special athletic. Like, you know, like LaDainian Thompson, like type special, like no joke. You know what I'm saying? Crazy skill and ability. And I just felt like when I would fight guys, most of the time, I was able to outwill them, and I was able to outcondition them.
Mm-hmm.
My skill set was more in that department. Yes, I can counter punch. Yes, I have the nice flip counter. I can be aggressive. I was real strategic. You know, I would study film and understand what the fighter didn't like, and I would throw it in his face all night. I had that ability to adapt and to change the course because I could do a little bit of everything. There wasn't like one thing that I was special in. It was like I could do a little bit of everything, and if I do a little bit of everything, then you know what? That's appealing to the judges. Not only that, I can change my game up and I can confuse my opponent. So, you know, Pacquiao was just an animal, man. Like, I'm not going to lie. He was an animal, bro. And that's why I respect him so much, because most of the guys like Devin, I knew he wasn't strong enough for me. I knew I had to pressure him. I knew that if I pressured him, I was going to beat him. And it was easy. A guy like Kendall Hall, I knew pressure. I was like, this dude, I'm going to take it to him. He ain't got no heart. You know what I'm saying? He can't stay at my pace. But with Pac, you could try to take it to him. You gonna get hit. He can punch. He's fast. He punches at odd angles. Yeah. He's conditioned. He has experience. You know. And he knows when to buy his time. Like, this dude understands how to control the energy inside the ring, man. And what I mean by that is like he knows when you're tiring. He knows when your technique starts to fade. He can feel it. You know what I'm saying? And then he turns it up. So it might seem like he's letting off the gas a bit and letting you punch. Oh, yeah, he's setting you up. He's letting you punch, letting you wear yourself down a bit, and then he explodes because he's like, okay, I took your best, now can you take mine? So great fighter, man. Great fighter. I think both those guys were terrific fighters. I would say Pac was probably my hardest opponent. Okay. And my kryptonite, no doubt about it.
So just to pivot a little bit, back to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd coined the phrase, we believe in working smarter, not harder. What does that phrase mean to you?
Working smarter, not harder. Yeah. I mean, when you get into a certain age, you get to a certain status. I think what Floyd meant by that is just business wise, working smarter, not harder. So Floyd, what he did was he avoided the middleman. So when Floyd left Top Rank, what he did was, he formulated his own promotional company. He got with, Al Haymon, so on and so forth. And this was like well before PBC got established. So this was like Floyd era. And he had a quote unquote manager / advisor. And Floyd at the time, I believe early on, I think it was Golden Boy he was using at the time.
Yeah, Golden Boy was promoting the fight.
Yeah. So what Floyd did was Golden Boy was quote unquote promoting the fight, but Floyd was the promoter. So he used their platform and their network that Golden Boy was using, but Floyd got all the cheese. He got all the money. Mm-hmm. He would just give money for the card so everybody can, fight. He'll pay for the card like a promoter. He'll pay for his opponent and so on and so forth. So that way he can get 50% at the end of the night. He can get 50% of the revenue on pay-per-view. So that's the reason why Floyd was able to make so much money, 80 million, 100 million, because he was a promoter. Mm-hmm. You can be a fighter and you can be a promoter. You can't be a manager and a promoter, but you can be an advisor and be a promoter. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
So that's the thing. So that's the thing. So that's the thing with Haymon, smart. It's just smart business. And Floyd paid his dues to be in the position that he was in. And when you get to that position and you have all the leverage, then you're able to basically set up your next 10 fights if you want to. You can pay the guys whatever you want. You have total control over the game. So that's what he means by it.
So just to pivot, And I want you to let people know this because you've been in the game. You've been in the game for a while. What? Let people know what's the difference between Pretty Boy Floyd and Money Mayweather. Because I
Pretty Boy
remember,
Floyd.
I remember when he fought. If I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong. He became Pretty Boy Floyd after he beat Oscar De La Hoya. That's when he made the transition.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the difference
Yeah.
between the two?
But understand, but let's go back to that fight. You got to understand what Floyd did then. Floyd, when he fought De La Hoya, he accepted all the terms.
Right.
Similar to what Garcia did. The same similar thing. I mean, he let him choose everything. You know, ring size, you name it. He just wanted the opportunity, and he knew once he beat this man that he was gonna be the man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so, going back to Pretty Boy was violent. He was no joke. He was offensive minded, and when he was healthy and he had healthy hands, he was aggressive. He was a knockout artist, man. He was literally a knockout artist. Like, if you go and you look at his first 18, 19 fights, man, I believe he had like 17, 16 KOs. Like, he had a high KO percentage. Man. You know, so, but he was aggressive. He was, I would say, he wasn't the businessman that he was when he became Money Mayweather. When he made that change, man, and he became, you know, the face of boxing. I've been hearing this term for a while now, man, for the last week. Yeah. The new face of boxing. No, Floyd became then the face of boxing. He beat a Hall of Fame guy. He beat the Golden Boy. You know what I'm saying? You understand that?
Yeah, I remember that.
And several other guys. I mean, top guys. Early on, he fought top opposition after top opposition. When he became Pretty Boy, he was a little bit more selective, and that's fine. His legacy was already cemented early on. Trust me. His legacy was cemented early on. He fought killers, man. Freddie, Gennaro Hernandez. I mean, the list, Chico Corrales. Like, Floyd was dominating all these guys.
That was with Top Rank. That was with Bob Arum.
And that was with Bob Arum. Yeah. But when he became his own businessman and became Money, now it was more about, okay, all right, I'm here, I'm at the top, now I'm gonna be strategic with this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get played. I'm gonna play the game.
So, me and my friends, we go back and forth on this. Floyd Mayweather, his 50th fight was against Conor McGregor, right? And he called himself TBE, and I get it. I have a marketing background, so I do get the way Floyd marketed himself. What I try to tell a lot of these young guys when they say they're trying to follow the Floyd Mayweather blueprint, I'm like, dude, that was lightning in a bottle. Floyd Mayweather was at the Source Awards. He was at he was on Dancing with the Stars. He was with WWE. You know, he did so many different things, you know, at that time in the beginning of when social media was taking off. Me personally, I don't think that can be replicated again because I think that just happened at the right time. But his 50th fight was against a guy who never had a professional boxing match before by the name of Conor McGregor. Now, I always say Floyd is 49-0. I'm not counting Conor McGregor. How in the hell did that fight, a guy who never had a boxing match before, get sanctioned for a real live boxing match? And this is on Floyd's record as 50-0, which he broke Rocky Marciano record. What you got to say about that?
It was genius. I mean, what am I supposed to say? Like, me being a sports guy, me being in the business, I think it's bullshit. But at the same time, it's like, it's genius because, you know, you're fighting Conor McGregor, you're getting a cross promotion with the, you know, MMA and with the MMA and so on. It's like it was a no-brainer. And Conor McGregor was the one that called him out. Conor McGregor is the one that wanted him. Yeah. So he made it happen for his 50th fight. And the green, man, that green, and I'm not talking about the one you smoke. I'm talking about the one that goes in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? The one you spin. That green, it talks. This business is this business. If you haven't put it together, man, just like any other business, just like NBA and NFL and, you know, all of it, it's about the bread, man. It's about money. That's what it's about at the end of the day. It's money first, and then it's about the sport. It really is. Every business. And I say that because why do you think all the athletes in basketball and football, they get reprimanded for behaving a certain way? Mm-hmm. Well, you're messing with our money, man. You're messing with our money. We need people to buy your jerseys. We need people to come and see you play. You know, you can't be messing up the money. So, you know what? We're going to slap you on the wrist. 2-game suspension. We gonna, you know what I mean? Like that's what it's all about. And boxing has always been this way, man. It's always been about the bread. So Floyd, for instance, you talking about the Conor McGregor thing?
Mm-hmm.
It did the second biggest number in boxing history and comeback history,
right?
As far as the pay-per-view goes.
You're right, yeah.
I mean, it was a smart move. It was a whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? Did I like it at the time? No, I didn't like it at the time. I still think it's bogus. At the end of the day, let's keep it 100. It's bogus. But dude, that $300 million he got,
that 300 mil ain't bogus.
that's for real. That's for real. So you know, you can look at it from you can look at it from two ways, man. You know, and that's what I tend to do, man. I try to look at things two different ways. So I say a lot. I do say a lot, but I look at it from different points of view. You know, and so, but me being a fighter, I'm like, man, how the hell he get in the ring with Conor McGregor, or Conor McGregor getting in the ring with Floyd, and I didn't get a chance to share the ring with him. So, hey, whether you say it's my fault or not, I don't give a damn.
Tank Davis, when you got elected to the Hall of Fame, Tank Davis criticized your resume. Said that you was an ass fighter or whatever the case may be when you got elected. The question that I have is, why do you feel that Tank Davis criticized your resume when I look at Tank Davis's resume in comparison, you know, it doesn't even measure up? What was that all about?
I don't know. Maybe he don't like my style. Mm-hmm. Maybe he just don't like me. You know, I talk a lot. I'm fearless with my approach. I speak my mind. And I've said some things about him in the past. I've criticized his resume, said he keeps fighting cab drivers and guys, you know, and really not really testing himself against the best. You know, Mayweather Promotions, PBC, they did a great job. They've done a fantastic job promoting him. Like, this dude sells out everywhere. Anywhere he goes, he sells out. They've done a good job with him. But it comes a time where you saying you're the best, but you're not willing to step foot in the ring against the very best. That's the problem that I have, you know, at the end of the day. So to answer your question about, you know, what Tank has on me, I think that's what it stems from. It stems from that, my comments about him in the past. Mm-hmm. And he just felt like, you know what, you know, his career was nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he ain't nobody. He ain't nobody. You know, he wasn't a draw. He wasn't this. And there's a difference between guys. There's a difference in ladies. There's a difference between being a draw and also being a Hall of Fame fighter. You can be the draw, but that doesn't mean that doesn't accumulate in a fashion to where you're going to be a Hall of Fame fighter if you're not facing the top competition out there. You know, and this is a start. I mean, for Tank with Garcia, I mean, Garcia was an undefeated guy. I said going into the fight, it was a bit too premature for him. I said at the very beginning, my thoughts at the very beginning were spot on. Garcia is not ready for Tank. You know, I know what I see. He's a great talent. You know, he has the speed. He has the nuances to go along with the game. You know, this guy is a killer in the ring. He really is, man. Power. You could tell he can box really high ring IQ with footwork. You know, he's a lot better defensively sound than a lot of people give him credit for. You know, got some mental toughness to go along with him. I saw that in Tank when he fought against Cruz. You know, things wasn't going his way, and he still was able to figure out a way. And that's when you know you got a real. When things ain't going your way, he's injured. He injured one of his hands, and then he resorted to boxing. And he started moving. I'm like, oh, snaps. I didn't know he had that in him. I didn't know he can move on angles like that and stop on a dime and pop shots and move and continue to box. And then I didn't know he was able to take punches like that. He got hit on the chin. You know, he felt it and was able to tie up and do what he needed to do and survive. I was like, man, this dude is a real fighter, you know. But he hasn't fought the very best in the sport yet. So will he now? Will he now? We gonna see.
Yeah, because the thing is, when I ran across I remember you did the Fight Hub interview. You said that you said that Tank Davis was a horrible person, and you thought it was a piece of shit.
Oh yeah.
And what was that based on? That comment there.
man, if you get online and check out how many altercations or his, incidents that this young man has been in. All right. And the last one on the straw was, I remember the girl at the basketball game. I remember that. I remember the girl at the basketball game that he had roughed up, man. That pissed me off. Mm-hmm. I got two sisters, a mother. I have 3 daughters, and I'm not about that, man. I'm not about roughing up no woman. Period. And I saw that, and then the car accident where he fled the scene. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean he fled the scene? He left people in a car, innocent people in the car. He ran into them now. That was basically up in smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that says something about your character. That says something about you as a person, bro, to do that. You being who you are. Tank Davis, the new face of boxing, as you say. Mm-hmm. Like, that bothers me, man. And then the whole 911 call and the girl screaming on the phone. And I understand she probably retract her words or whatever. The dude had a fight coming up a recent fight that was coming up in a week or so. Of course she's going to retract her words. She ain't stupid, and going through, and I heard the whole call, bro. That bothers me, man. So at the end of the day, my judgment is based on his actions. It's not based on my feelings. It's based on his actions. I can like him as a fighter, but as a person, I think he's a piece of shit. I really do. And it might rub people the wrong way, but that's my opinion. And at least I say it. I'm not one of the ones that run around and say it behind your back and won't tell you. I'll tell it to his face. Mm-hmm. That's the type of dude that I am. That's how I'm raised. And you know who made me the way this is?
Oh.
The fans listening. The media.
Yeah.
The media, the fans, y'all made me who I am today. Like, when I went through what I went through in 2012, dog, with Manny Pacquiao, with the whole controversial decision, dog, like,
I remember
man,
that.
it hardened me so much. I heard everything. I had death threats.
Yeah, I remember that.
My kids was going to school, was getting laughed at. Like, bro, it was a hard time for me in my life. But when it's hard like that, either two things can happen. Either I can curl up and quit, kill myself, or do something stupid, or I could just say, all right, I see what it is. And once the light clears, I know what it's all about. I come back with vengeance. So this personality that I have now, because the people spoke and said what they wanted to say about me, called me every name in the book,
yeah, I remember
fighters
that.
included.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm like, oh, so this is free. This is a free world, right?
Yeah.
Amendment. I'm in First Amendment. Oh, we could talk. We could say whatever oh, yeah. Oh, no, I get it. I got an opinion too, just like everybody else. So I'm very opinionated now because of what I went through. I wasn't like that before. And then on top of that, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn rat's ass who likes me or not. You saw me the last week come on the show. I said, man, keep your name in my mouth, because I like it. Because when you're talking about me, that means I'm doing something.
Right.
Because when you're not talking about me, I'm not doing anything right. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I feel.
I didn't know that was you. I thought you was a troll, because basically the way you are is the way I am. I'm very outspoken. I'm gonna say what's on my mind. When I came on YouTube, I was cool. I was chill. Then I started getting all these death threats, and dudes started calling me coon all the time, sell out, this and that. And now I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I say what's on my mind. I don't give a fuck what I don't want you to say nothing, but I don't give a fuck what a nigga got to say. I don't give a damn. It is what it is. I'm gonna be at the fights. I got the phone number 530-494-9636. Anybody want to call that number? Feel something? That's how I am. And that's how it is. But let me get these super chats out the way right quick. Shout out to Will. He said, Desert Storm, Timothy Bradley. Much love, Tim. Salute the Will. I got a couple of more. Tim, because we got some good questions, man. We're really getting into it now. Shout out to Boxing Gyms. He said, what up, Champ? He said, what up, Coach? He said, Champ, what's good, bro? Boxing Gyms for the $20 super chat. He just said, what's up? Shout out to Bless 360.
That's my guy right there.
Oh, Boxing Gyms. Yeah.
That's
Boxing,
my guy, man. Yeah. Ryan, what up?
Yeah, he know it's boxing. Boxing Gym know it's boxing. And shout out to Bless 365. She said, what do you say about people who say you just hating, Tim? So, you got people who love Tank Davis and people who are pro PBC. They say, those are guys probably really don't like you. They say that you're a hater and stuff like that. So what say you about that? Or have you already answered that by saying you don't give a damn what they say?
No. I'm not a hater. I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm in the Hall of Fame. Why am I a hater? I'm not a hater. I'm just speaking my truth. I'm speaking my truth, man, because I just call a spade, and that's just it. Yeah. You don't have to agree with me. Guys out there that have wives, do you always agree with your wife tell you? Do you always agree with her? No. You have your own opinion, your own thoughts. And I have my own opinions and my own thoughts. You ain't got to ride with me. You ain't got to agree with me. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I'm cool with that. But I ain't no hater. I'm rich. I'm in the Hall of Fame. I got a great family. I got multiple houses, business. I mean, dude, like hater? I don't hate, bro. I'm not hating. I'm like, bro, like I'm so confused on that, man. Most of the time, you get these haters that they ain't got nothing, and they just hate because they can't be that person.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Tank. I ain't trying to go to jail. I ain't never been in jail. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't trying to go. You feel me?
In your opinion, is Tank Davis following the Mayweather green print, so to speak, that Floyd always brag about?
He following the latest. He's following Pretty Boy.
Pretty Boy.
They got him following the Pretty Boy. Yeah.
No, Pretty Boy or Money May?
Money May, my bad. Money May.
Money May.
That's what I meant. Money May. I got him confused. Money May. That's the blueprint he following right now. He
ain't following Pretty Boy. He following Money May. Shout out to Solo Dolo dropping a $20 super chat. He said, I knew Tim was a real one. He said, when he ate a bacon sandwich on air doing commentary. Okay.
That's that BB sandwich, bro.
Hey,
that was fire.
Talk about the politics of boxing and why fights don't get made today as it relates to promoters, advisors, fighters, and networks.
It's a combination of everything. It's a combination of everything. But just to answer your question, just right out the gate, then I'll give you some context. The fighter. It all boils down to the fighter. Understand this, like you in a relationship with your promoter, like it's a partnership with your promoter. And your promoter might have a different outlook. Mm-hmm. You might have a different outlook, and you guys got to come together and talk about that. And if it's something that you want to really do, and you want that to be a part of your career, and you want to make this fight because it's all about legacy, and that's what you believe in, then you'll make the fight happen. Regardless, they have to make the fight happen. You know what I mean? So they working for you. You working together, and they also working for you at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, the promoter also has an obligation to the network. And see, and that's where things get a bit difficult. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why you had DAZN on and you had Showtime on. You had to split network for this past weekend is because you had, Garcia, who's affiliated with DAZN, and you have Gervonta that's affiliated with Showtime. And that can make things very difficult. Now, this was a home run, like home run, just like commercial grade. Like it was no joke. Mm-hmm. Like this was a home run. Last weekend was a home run, dude. And everybody eats.
Right.
Everybody can eat off of this because a lot of money was generated. So promoters now, and this goes way back even when the Manny Pacquiao days. I wasn't gonna get on Manny fight unless I was with Top. That's the reason why I signed with Top Rank and I left my promoters because I knew I had to get myself in position to fight a Manny Pacquiao fight. So this ain't nothing new. This has been going on way back in the days. And I remember back in the days they used to make fights happen, but it was a lot different and the money was a lot less, I would say. But, everybody evolves. But each promoter, they want to have their own business because they're able to control everything. Understand that. Okay? Mm-hmm. They're able to control everything. They're able to pay fighter A, fighter B. They're able to pay fighter, the undercard, so on and so forth. They're able to balance the books the way that they see fit. Now when you're working with another promoter, yes, you can do 50-50, such and such, whatever. But if the show tanks, ain't nobody winning.
Right.
Ain't nobody in the business to lose money. Right. Everybody's in the business to make money at the end of the day.
Leonard Eller be talking about that all the time.
Yeah.
He talk about that all the time, yeah.
Yeah. So like some fights may take a longer to materialize, and we hate it as fans, and sometimes I hate it. I'm not gonna lie. I've been waiting on Spence and Crawford for the longest, for a few years now, 3 years now. You know, and the fight hadn't materialized, and it was all kind of excuses going back and forth between the two sides. You know, but you know, I think that fights don't get made because of all three things I just said. The networks, bro. You're in the network. Think about this. You have a business partner, right? Or you have a partner with a business,
right?
And now you're gonna take your business somewhere else, bro. That's difficult, man. That's tough. That's tough to do. So, that's the problem right now with boxing, is that you have the promoters, different promoters. You have different entities. You have different fighters. They have different directions, different visions. As a company. And sometimes, just like last week, they can come together and they can, put on a great show, a big show like they did, and everybody will be happy and make tons of money.
So basically, do certain fighters, I'm not going to say any names, but from your experience, do certain fighters hide behind their promoters and advisors in order to keep fights from happening? Let's say you have a situation where a promotional company is willing to, okay, I'm willing to work with this promotional company to make this fight. Do certain fighters, from your experience, hide behind their promoters or hide behind their advisors in order to make excuse why the fight shouldn't be made?
Well, they can. They absolutely can. Okay. Again, it's your advisor is going to tell you, hey, let's not make that fight, man. Let's go a different route. Although you might feel like, hey, man, this is a fight that I want this fight. And it's like, hey, bro, like, let's go a different route. Let's go this route because of this and this and this. And then you find yourself agreeing with them, because you don't want to ruffle any feathers. So, yes, that can happen. And then you get some fighters that are like, I'll use Fulton as an example. I'll use Wilder as an example, that they say, hey, this is the fight I want. I don't care. Make this fight, man. We're going to make this fight. It don't matter, and then they make it happen. They really, really, really want the fight. And then it happens. So you get Inoue and you get Fulton fighting. You get Garcia, you get Tank fighting. We get the fights that we want to see. So if you're going to put pressure on somebody, I would say put pressure on the fighters, guys. And that's what I do. And I put the pressure on the fighters. So, like, a lot of the stuff that I say, that, they say, he's talking out the side of his neck. I'm putting pressure on these guys. That's what I'm doing. I'm sitting here and I'm putting pressure on these guys at the end of the day. Because let me just talk about Spence real quick. I know I read one of your comments said, don't let Tim talk about Spence. I have nothing against Spence, man. I'm letting you know. I no ill feeling towards Spence. I think he's a tremendous fighter. That's why he's in my top pound for pound. He's no joke. But this is the thing. You first said Crawford didn't have a belt. He got a belt. Then he's affiliated with Top Rank. He's on the other side of the street. Okay. Crawford leaves, becomes a free agent. You win the 3 belts. You told us that you wanted to win the 3 belts. And then you will fight Crawford. Crawford's a free agent, and we still haven't got the Spence Crawford fight. And I'm hearing through the grapevine that the fight's going to happen this year. I don't believe it because I just don't believe it. And once they step foot in the ring and it happens, then I believe it. But I if it happens, it's great. It's been long overdue. This is the fight. This is the fight that everybody wants to see, and I think it'll do astronomical numbers as well. The business is great for everybody at the end of the day. So when I'm saying somebody is running, stop sprinting, stop getting away, stop running. I'm putting a fire. That's what I'm doing. I'm starting a fire. It has nothing at all because I don't like Spence or this. No, I'm putting a fire under their behind because now what's the excuse? There isn't any more excuses. There shouldn't be any more excuses. Crawford is a free agent. Let's be fair and then go negotiations, and let's work it out. Just like these two did. Let's work it out and let's make it happen. Let's give the sport fans what they deserve, what they rightfully deserve. And it'd be great for both these guys' legacy. Both of them. Crawford and Spence need each other. They do.
Right. Tim, this guy right here, Terence Trotter, he said Hall of Fame for what? He say this issue is personal, so he feel like you got something personal against Tank Davis. I think he's from Baltimore. He's a Tank Davis fan. Shout out to FN40. He say Timothy Bradley, just by having a victory over Manny Pacquiao and Juan Marquez, tops Tank's entire career. Thank you, brother, for the super chat. Haleen just dropped a half a dub. He said, "Hi, Timothy. Welcome to." He said, "Welcome. Who wins between Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez?" And
Josh Taylor.
Okay, Josh Taylor. And Lee, what's up to Lee for dropping that $20 on super chat, man? I appreciate that, fam. What's the difference between Top Rank and PBC from a business model standpoint, in your opinion? From a business model standpoint, I know you never. I don't think you ever did any business with the PBC from a promotional standpoint or an advisory standpoint, so to speak. But from your understanding, what's the difference between Top Rank and PBC from a business model standpoint as related to boxing?
let me first talk about PBC and what PBC has done. Okay, all right. PBC years ago, there was some sort of hedge fund that was out.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
White Ellen Reed.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Start buying up. They had over 300 fighters. They were basically trying to do what Dana White has done, and created this monopoly. During that process, they were getting these fighters, and they were getting these fighters based on the amount of money that these fighters were making. And if it wasn't for PBC, fighters would not be making as much money as they're making today.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for a guy like Floyd Mayweather, fighters wouldn't be making money the way they're making today. You know, PBC raised minimum wage in boxing. Raised it. They was giving guys that weren't even champions at the time $1.5 million, $2 million per, like high amounts of money, you know. So that's one thing that PBC has done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Top Rank, on the other hand, they've been in the business a lot longer than any other company in boxing. Okay. They have a business model. They tend to be fair with the fighters, and that's the reason why you have a lot of the young up and coming talent that sign, especially the Olympians, sign with Top Rank, because they have credibility on building champions. They built Floyd. They built
Top
Pretty
Rank.
Boy.
Top rank. Yeah, Top Rank. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that, but
they built De La Hoya. You know, they work with Ali. They work with Marvin Hagler. They work with Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, they work with everybody. So they're well in depth in the game. And I would say the difference of me not being with PBC is that I think you have a consistent flow of talent with Top Rank, one, and two, a consistent flow of fighters having dates, actually fighting more often.
So that's the difference between with Top Rank.
They fight a lot more. I think they get a lot more exposure being on ESPN. The fighters do.
Mm-hmm.
They built champions. They have the greatest matchmaker in boxing. You know, and I think that, you know, the credibility, the past, the history, you know, and they've been the longest promoter standing. So people say, oh, Top Rank Bob Arum is this and that, and they call him, they try to compare him to Dom King and so on and so forth. He's not like that. Straight up. You know, I've been with Top Rank. They are my family, and you could say, I'll always kiss their behind or whatever. No, I don't. I just have a great relationship with them. They the reason why I'm rich. To be honest with you, yes, they the reason why I got money. They gave me the opportunity, and loyalty is hard to find, you know, in nowadays, you know, and that's just it. You know, I don't know too much about PBC. I've heard what Broner said about them and them getting allowances and, you know, monthly allowances and so on and so forth. I heard about Broner, you know, whatever Broner says, I mean, it has to be true because Broner is trill. He's trill with it. So whatever he's saying out there, it has to be true about them. And obviously Broner's not with them, and he probably has his feelings. You know, his feelings are definitely hurt because they're not working with him. But at the end of the day, a lot of things that they're saying, you gotta trust.
I'm glad you clarified that, because a lot of people, you have some people, and I have been a critic of PBC myself as of late, the fighters not getting the fight dates and the Crawford Spence fiasco. But to be fair, do you feel that PBC gets a bad rep from a lot of people, a lot of critics, or even maybe so people who may hate the PBC? Because like you said, when the PBC came in the game, they elevated a lot of fighters' fight purses in boxing. And if it wasn't for the PBC, would you say that, hey man, a lot of fighters will be making peanuts prior to, we'll be making peanuts today prior to, if it wasn't for Al Haymon and Floyd Mayweather, formulating the PBC?
I don't know if they'll be making peanuts. I think you get what you deserve. At the end of the day, and I think that's actually so for Top Rank. You get what you deserve. Shakur Stevenson, for instance. Let me give you an example. I mean, Shakur Stevenson is a draw. Shakur Stevenson is making money. He's making money. I'm not pocket watching, but I'm just letting you know, if you are handling your business, if you're making money, and they're able to make money because you're a partner, they're gonna take care of you. They're gonna take care of you, man. At the end of the day, I don't know how it is on PBC side. I'm not sure how it goes or how that works. But I know on the Top Rank side, you get what you negotiate, plus you get what you rightfully deserve. And it just depends on your market value, baby, what you bring to the table. So
Al Haymon, have you ever met Al Haymon personally? I'm going somewhere with this.
Never in my life. I've never seen Al Haymon, never spoke with Al Haymon. No one's ever seen. No one. Mystery man.
I think the last time Al Haymon was seen out in public was, I want to say, maybe when Mayweather fought McGregor in 2017. I want to say that was it, when he was in the locker room and Floyd hugged him. He was either that or the Manny Pacquiao fight. Floyd hugged him and he was crying in his arms. Why is that? Why do you think that? You see Bob Arum, you see Eddie Hearns, you see Frank Warren, you've seen Don King, even to this day. Why is it that, in your opinion, Al Haymon doesn't show his face? Like, how come he's like a mystery man?
You don't want to know what I think about that, man.
All right, we'll talk about that off air.
You don't want to know what I think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that don't show their face, man, and always hiding out, bro. What you got to hide? That's what I always think about. What you got to hide, bro? Like, come out, bro. Come out. Let it be known. We want to see you. The people want to see you. Want to be able to touch you. Want to be able to shake your hand. We want to be able to look at you in your face, man. But he sits back in the cut and he just makes his power moves and he go about his business, man. Go ahead.
No, BJ dropping a quarter. Shout out to BJ dropping a quarter of a dub. It's kind of off topic what I wanted to talk about, but can you just brush over this right quick? BJ wanted to ask about. He said, "Coach, can you ask Tim about Crawford's fallout with Top Rank?"
Oh, the fallout with Top Rank. I don't have too much details as far as the fallout goes.
Okay.
I don't have too much details on that. Crawford's my guy. I talk to him occasionally, but I have no details as far as that fallout goes, so I can't speak on it.
Okay. Will, shout out to Will for dropping a half a dub. He said, I seen a report recently that Teofimo disrespected you and Ward. He said, what is your opinion about that? Do you think Teofimo is in a good place mentally right now, going into Josh Taylor fight?
Yeah, I think he's in a good place because he knows he has to be.
Right. Yeah.
His last fight, he had a mediocre performance, and that can be due to a couple of things. One, I said before the fight that something was wrong with him mentally, because I just never heard him talk the way that he spoke the way he did in the fighter meeting. I just never heard him. I'm not gonna tell you what he said, but it was just a lot of things that I was just like, huh, like what, like. Yeah,
but he shot a video on it. He shot a video on it and said, he said some crazy stuff, and he was talking about a lot of you and Andre Ward, y'all want to promote black fighters. I think he just insinuating that you're making it racial or whatever the case may be. I heard a clip of it, so he said that's what he said in the video that someone sent me.
Well, what happened? What happened with Shakur Stevenson? Like what is he talking about? You know, like a lot of people say, "Oh, you be hating on black fighters, you be hating on." So if Teofimo, he's what Nicaraguan? I don't know what he is. Latin.
No. He's saying that you and Dre only want to promote the black fighters. That's what he's saying. You
Oh,
only want to promote the black fighters. Yeah.
oh no. No, I promote him as well. I think his father is very disrespectful. They're very disrespectful,
T Diddy.
and yeah, he definitely very disrespectful. And I got a few words for him when I do see him, because I don't run. I go straight to it. You know what I mean? If I don't say anything, it's gonna eat me up. So I just let him know, how I feel. But just put it this way: I promote every fighter, you know, and I'll give you your just due.
Mm.
When you do well, I'll tell you you did well. If you do shitty, I'll tell you you did shitty. There's nothing wrong with that, man. You know, you're not gonna always get it right all the time, and that's fine. And dealing with the criticism or the constructive criticism is fine. Now, the way I do it sometimes might not be, what everybody, think that's fair, because I'm just straight up. It's kind of the way I am. I'm built this way. My father used to talk to me the same way. You know what I mean? You learn from your parents. My dad was always chill with me. 100. You look like shit today, son. You didn't do good today, son. Man, what the hell you get hit with that shit before? How you get hit with that? Like he just told me straight up. You ain't gonna win nothing doing like that. You're playing. Just stop playing. So that's how I am. And I brought it to the broadcasting world, and it rubs some people the wrong way, and sometimes it doesn't. But just trust me, man. These fighters, I've been in the game a long time, and if these fighters just listen every now and then, they just listen to what I'm telling them, they'll learn something, man. They will definitely learn something. So Teo, I don't know, no feelings, no hard feelings for Teo. It is what it is. He can say whatever he wants, because when he sees me, he gonna smile in my face, and he gonna say hello Tim, and he gonna be all good. And I'm not that type of guy, man. I'm not fake like that. So he'll know. His dad definitely gonna know when I see him. So Teofimo Senior, you already know what time it is when I see you.
Tim, Boxing Gems, your main man. Boxing Gems. Shout out to Boxing Gems dropping that $100 super chat. He said, "Chimp,
that's my guy, man."
Yeah, for sure. He said, "Chimp, I want to hear a Loma versus Haney technical breakdown, and it better be good."
Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. Jim said that, man, because I just, me and Jim, we talk offline all the time, man. We on email, going back and forth about different fighters and matchups. Jim's is one of the most brilliant minds that I've ever came across on YouTube on boxing. Technical breakdowns, from technical breakdowns to what the fighter's doing, positions, skills, move, it all. He does it all. Tactical work, the whole bit. But anyways, this is gonna be. I think this fight's gonna be a lot more interesting than what people are giving the credit for, man. They're not really giving Lomachenko a chance. I don't think they're giving him a shot. Everybody's looking at the size and they're saying, oh, it's the length and the size, and that's not everything. That's not everything. We talking about the technique of both of these guys. I think that Lomachenko has better technique. I think his punch selection is minimal, but I think he has the right punches to give Haney problems, which are the straighter punches. I would say Haney definitely has to control distance, and that doesn't just mean going back off the back foot. That means going forward as well. I would say that Lomachenko, he has tendencies to get himself out of position quite often, where he squares up. He'll bring that lead foot back to where he'll square up. And, he gets caught in these disadvantageous positions quite often. If you go back and you watch the Lopez fight, you will see when Lopez attacked him, you will see him switch his feet and he'll move back and he's out of position, and, he gets frantic. And then when he's out of position, and you're able to land on him and mount an attack. So I think that Haney can take advantage of those opportunities if he press forward behind his jab, but again, maintaining his distance, not allowing Loma to get in closer on him, and still punching and getting him out of position and keeping him out of position at times, and having him running around the ring by being somewhat aggressive. But again, at the right distance. And then he can make him pay off the back foot as well when Loma starts reaching at times. Loma will reach. There's an uppercut that I see that Haney can land, but he got to have his left hand up, and that's where the problem comes in for Haney. Haney typically results to the, I would say, or default to the Philly shell, especially when someone crossed that threshold, meaning that line, his line, meaning they're in him, they're in the line of fire, they're right up on him, and he gets frantic, and then he goes into the Philly shell. Well, that's going to leave room for a shot from Loma 2-1 combination that could affect Haney, no doubt about it, that he used against Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you remember that 2-1 combination that he used?
Yeah, I remember that.
The 2-1 combination, that's going to be a very effective weapon for Lomachenko if Haney doesn't go back to the drawing board and tighten that up. So all in all, I think that it's a great matchup. I don't like to say 50-50, at the end of the day, but I can just say that I wouldn't be surprised if Lomachenko surprises a lot of people. And I say this because if you look at his track record, when Loma has a lackluster performance, he normally comes back with vengeance. When he lost to Teofimo Lopez, he came back and he fought Nakatila. What happened? You saw it. One of the best Lomas I've seen in a long time. When he fought against, what's the kid named Salido, and he comes back and he beats Gary Russell Jr. Oh my gosh, Gary Russell Jr. is a fantastic fighter. I like him a lot. And he beat him. It was after a subpar performance. I'm thinking Loma's going to be at his very absolute best against Haney. I think Haney struggles sometimes, struggles at times. Now, he does struggle making that weight. He blows up in between fights. I think he's around $160, 65. He's probably up there near the 70 maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong, but when I see him, he got the chickmunk cheeks on. He looked like me about, let's say, 4 months ago. He swole up. So that's going to play a big factor on Haney late in the fight. So Loma typically comes on late. Okay, guys? He starts putting the pressure on late. He starts figuring out your rhythm. He starts figuring out your exits. He starts figuring out your pattern, your attack patterns. He starts figuring that out. And once he does that, that's when things going to get interesting. Okay, at the end of the day. One more thing. One more thing. I know I'm all over the place because I'm trying to explain a whole lot of things. Talk to me about Haney, and let me talk about Haney's inside game. Haney is not a really good inside fighter. Okay? He's not. He's a mid-range to outside fighter. He's good. He has decent timing on the outside. He has great setups, and everything is off his jab. And he does have a great control game up front against the southpaw. You go back, you watch him against Jojo Diaz, he controls that lead hand, and that's something that Tank did to your boy Garcia. Yeah. Go back and study it, people.
He did.
So, yeah, he took it away. That he did that. He took it away. But at the same time, Loma is no Jojo Diaz. Loma typically keeps that high guard up, or would say occasionally he'll use the long guard. But he dips in and he dips out and he looks for counters. He's always changing levels. He's always changing head slots. He's always changing his rhythm, always trying to make things difficult for his opponent to figure out when he's actually going to attack. And when he does figure out Haney, man, we're going to see what Haney has, man, especially on the inside. Besides that tying up, he going to have to fight. He going to have to fight Loma in spots. So, anyways, that's the breakdown. I know I'm on all over the place, but it's all good.
Do you think Ryan Garcia had a right to complain about the catch weight that he agreed to fighting Tank Davis? I was out in LA and I interviewed Joe Goose, and I just want you just to touch on that just very briefly. Tank fought him at a catch weight. A lot of Ryan Garcia fans feel as though if it wasn't for that and the rehydration, that Ryan Garcia would have beat Tank Davis.
I think it's soft. Yeah. I think that hydration is soft. I'm not about that, man. This fight wasn't even for a title, bro. This wasn't even for the IBF. That's what they do for the IBF title. You know that, right?
Right.
So the IBF title, you only can weigh 10 pounds over the weight class that morning up. That's what you do. Both fighters. So it wasn't even for a belt. And I'm not about that. If you already made the man squeeze down to 136, he ain't been there in 2.5 years or 2 years or so. You already made him squeeze down. Now you're going to take that. Only allow him to gain 10 pounds. For me being a fighter, me being who I am, bro, like that's soft in my book. But at the end of the day, Garcia signed on the contract, no signed on the dotted line, but that tells you about what Garcia was all about at the begin with. I mean, he was he didn't care about the consent. He was like, yo, whatever it is, I want this fight because I know I'm gonna get paid.
Right,
and he fought that way too.
It was a cash out. Yeah, he was a cash out.
Oh,
yeah, he
straight up cash out.
He just wanted to cash out. He knew he wasn't going to win that fight.
Yeah.
From a skill set standpoint, I want you to hear this question. This is a good one. From a skill set standpoint, a heart, determination, and ring IQ, which fighter is the best in your opinion at the 135 pounds lightweight division?
It's between two. It's between two fighters. It's between two fighters, and there's no disrespect to Haney because I think Haney is doesn't get a whole lot of credit. I think he's a tremendous fighter, but I just think that these guys are just better. It's between Tank and it's between Shakur Stevenson. Those two fighters right there.
Okay.
Tank and Shakur Stevenson. Those two fighters right there.
Do you think Tank Davis will ever fight any of those top guys in the lightweight division? We know Tank is one of them. Do you foresee him fighting a Shakur Stevenson in the future or Devin Haney in the future? Do you see
not when you have Frank Martin sitting over there and other guys that he can face over at PBC?
So basically, there's a lot of people called the show yesterday, and I was giving Tank the benefit of the doubt. I was saying that I think he will fight those other top guys. A lot of people jumped down my throat for saying that, but I had time to think about it, and I saw some things that I've been hearing from Floyd Mayweather and other people, and I heard it before the people mentioned it in the chat yesterday. But what you're saying is this thing probably with Tank and Ryan Garcia was a one-off. Tank is going to go right back to staying on his side of the street. Because I want to ask you this, Tim. This is what I always say on my show. Tank is a very, very unique fighter. He's the only, I think there's not a black fighter in America that can sell, that's a draw like Tank Davis. No black fighter in America can draw what he is. Probably most fighters in America outside of Canelo. Tank Davis can fight this pin. I have a pin in my hand. He can fight this pin and they can announce, hey, Tank Davis is fighting this ink pin in Las Vegas, and he'll sell out that arena. And it'll do live gate records and do great numbers. I said he's the only fighter that I know that outside of Canelo, he can do that regardless of who he fight, and he's going to do really, really good at the gate. So being that someone of a Tank Davis, if you're Leonard Ellaby, if you're Al Haymon, if you're Floyd Mayweather or Tank Davis or Calvin Ford, and you know that, hey, man, we can stick him in there with this cup of water and his fans going to buy it anyways, what is the incentive for him to want to fight a Shakur Stevenson, a Devin Haney, or hell, even a Teofimo Lopez at 140? Why would he do that when he doesn't have to?
Because if he wants to be the best and be considered the best in the world and be considered top pound for pound, one of the top best pound for pound fighters in the game, and to go into the Hall of Fame, you gotta test yourself against the best. At the end of the day, this is a sport, too. I understand the business, and he's made great money, and he has a huge following. They've built him up to what he is today. Now it's time for them to work on his legacy, because if he continues to fight these type of fighters, and some guys are cool with it. Some guys they just love the money. They don't care about the Hall of Fame. They don't care about what comes along with this business. At the end of the day, I'm not sure if he's that type of guy or not. But if you want to be the best, if you want to be considered one of the best of your generation, you have to fight the best in the world. Period. You can say it all you want, but until you get in the ring, you're not gonna get a whole lot of respect from the hardcores. Trust me, the hardcore fans out there, they understand. You might get respect from the casuals, because a lot of the casuals, and I would say the hardcore fans tuned in to watch them fight, but you're not gonna get a whole lot of respect from the hardcore diehard fans that's been around for many years if you don't fight the best.
Do you think that Bob Arum will be willing to make those? Let's say just that opportunity was to present itself, and Shakur really wants to fight those top guys. Again, Shakur is with Top Rank. He has quite a few fighters in the lightweight division, and he can fight on that side of the street. So if the opportunity were to present itself, do you think that Bob Arum, let's flip it, would Bob Arum be willing to make a Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko, or Devin Haney fight versus a Tank Davis? If that was
absolutely,
you think he would?
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it makes sense, and there's a lot of money that can be made for both parties. Absolutely, he'll make that fight happen. And and I know people say, "Oh, you just no." No, trust me, man. I've sat with Bob Arum on many occasions, and Bob, when it makes sense, when it's going to help the sport, when it's going to drive, and he knows that his guy definitely knows his guy can win the fight, the wonderful fight for his guy. He's all over it. He's all over it. That's why Bob has been in the sport a very long time, been longer than any promoter in the business, because he knows what he's doing. So yes, to answer your question, he will make the fight in a heartbeat, and Shakur Stevenson will make sure of that. Trust me, because at the end of the day, who does it boil down to, people? It boils down to the fighter. The fighter is the boss at the end of the day. Or, well, he's supposed to be.
Supposed to be the boss, yeah. Devin Haney, I'm going to pivot to him. Devin Haney, in my opinion, and this is my opinion based on my observation online, Devin Haney seems like the most disrespected undisputed champion of this era right here. If he beats Lomachenko, will he get the respect that he feels that he deserves?
He should. I mean, he should already get respect. I mean, tell me how many fighters have gone over to a different country, one, to win the undisputed championship, and secondly, to defend it out of his country. I mean, yes. I mean, it shows you about what his mentality and how this young man thinks and how he operates. He's all about legacy. Like, you can't, like, trust me, you can't, like, he couldn't pass up this fight. You know, the opportunity presents itself. You know, and yes, the money was good, yes, but that's not what it boils down to when it comes to Haney. Haney wants to fight the best guys out there. He's in position now. He's the king, I would say, at 135, because he does hold all the titles. But you can't be in a weight class where you have Lomachenko, who is a living legend. He's a living legend, man. He's already, like, with how many fights he has, he's a legend, because what he's accomplished in a short period of time is unbelievable. At the end of the day, and you got to give him his just due. He's fought in many championship fights. Fought in his championship fight, his third professional fight against Gary Russell Jr., people. Gary Russell Jr., who was a champion for many years, and he beat him. So, you know, you got to give him respect. So if he beats a legendary, I would say, living legend, Lomachenko, yeah, give him his respect, man. Give him his flowers while he's here. And you guys should already be giving him his flowers. He's a fantastic fighter, man. He's a really good fighter, very talented, and he never shies away from fighting against the best guys. You know, so it's hard to find guys like Haney. It's hard to find guys like him now.
I want to touch on this a little bit, just very shortly. Now, I'm glad you brought up Lomachenko. One of my biggest gripes from you, Teddy Atlas, Letterman. I felt like you guys was hyping Lomachenko up too much. Especially Bob Arum. I felt like, you know, it was like he was white Jesus. He can walk on water. If he stick his finger in a glass of water, he could turn it into wine. And Bob Arum is saying that Lomachenko is greater than Ali. This is the best fight I've ever signed. Like me, somebody like me, I'm a hardcore boxing fan, Tim. I'm 49. Yeah. I've been watching this a long time. And I'm like, what kind of shit is this? What the hell? You know, like, you get what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you another. Hold on. I'm going to tell you one thing that pissed me off the most than anything. 2017-18, I think, Terence Crawford became the undisputed junior welterweight champion of the world. It was Terence Crawford. It was Andre Ward standing right next to each other. Terence Crawford was 32-0. Two-division world champion, undisputed at 140. He just beat Ndongo. And Andre Ward was standing right next to him. He was 32-0. And Teddy Atlas looked both of those men in their eyes. And I think Lomachenko was either 10, I think it was 10-1. And he told them in their face that Lomachenko was pound for pound number one over both of them. Man, I've been mad at Teddy Atlas every goddamn since. I'm dead ass serious, bro. I've been 30 hot, and I was mad at you too. I say, man, god damn, man, y'all they praising him too much. Y'all talking like,
what did
oh my gosh.
Do you remember what I said?
Oh my gosh, Dre, I've never seen anything. You know, of course, I always come with the hyperbole, but oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this, Dre. Look at the way the sweat fell off his forehead when he turned around. So I always make mockery of it, of course, and I use a lot of hyperbole and I joke a lot. But tell me why is that? Why is that? Explain that to me.
Well, the thing is that Lomachenko, first of all, like I told you, everything that Lomachenko has been able to accomplish, you don't see anybody else able to attain it or do it. Mm-hmm. You know, third professional fight. I mean, the only other one that I can compare him to is Carissa Shields. That's the only other one. You know, what he was able to accomplish as an amateur on top of that. Winning another world championship, 7 professional fights, and another one at 13. Like, man, it's unbelievable what he's been able to do. Then you put the footwork on top of it and how he goes about his business inside the ring. A lot of the guys that, get a bad rap is the ones that fight off their back foot. Lomachenko does a lot of stuff off his front foot. He's aggressive. He has to. He has short arms. He's there inside the pocket. He gets around guys. His footwork. Tell me, how many guys have you seen besides Pernell Whitaker that can get around guys, that can get around guys the way he did early in his career? Tell me. Willie Pep? Who else?
Willie Pep. What about Nicolino Loche? I kind of like Nicolino Loche.
Yeah, but Loche didn't do it like Loma. Nobody has been able to get around that weak side and get around that right side as well, the way this guy has been able to do. You know what I'm saying? Pernell Whitaker, but Pernell did it a little bit different. But not like him. And Pernell can be in your face as well, and he can hit you, and he can be off his back foot. I mean, Pernell did a lot of things, but in this day and age, Lomachenko, and watching him and his footwork, and he does have some holes in his footwork too. Jims, what up? He's put out a lot of videos, and we've talked about, some of the things that he does wrong with his footwork. But you don't see fighters like that. You don't see guys making guys quit, on a stool because they're getting beat up and then they can't hit the guy and the guy is right in their face. You don't see that. So when I talk about Lomachenko and I talk about him as a legend, a living legend, and so on and so forth, it's all the above that I talked about, all that I just said, all of that. That's what makes him a fantastic fighter, and he's always fought the best. If you go and you look at his resume, man, and you look at all the guys that he's faced, these are all killers, man. All these guys that he's faced is killers. And all he's after is legacy, greatness. That's it. It's not about the money. He gave Haney money for the belt, for the undisputed opportunity, for the chance to fight for the undisputed. Understand that. He gave him money out of his money. He has a minimum. Haney wanted another $1 million. He gave him his own money. That way he can have an opportunity to fight him. How many guys do that in the sport? Not many.
I'm glad you went there. The Devin Haney, explain that to me because Devin Haney, damn, I don't want to go through all this shit, man, but let's just hit it. Devin Haney ended up becoming a WBC champion. He got elevated to it, right? Mauricio Sulaiman, and this is pivoting to my next question. Mauricio Sulaiman created the belt out of nowhere, which was the French. I call it the French fries belt. What they call the franchise belt. And they elevated, that's the term they use, Lomachenko to the French fries belt. And then the belt that Lomachenko had, he either got stripped of it or he dropped it. And Devin Haney, because he was the WBC intern champion, he got elevated. People said that Devin Haney didn't fight for it. He was an email champion and all that stuff there. And Lomachenko fought Teofimo Lopez. And then they said the winner of that was undisputed champion. I say they wasn't undisputed because when you look at the list, when I'm talking about the boxing historians, now I know that ESPN has an undisputed list. And I know that when you just look at boxing and overall, they have an undisputed list in the 4-belt era. The guys that I see in the 4-belt era outside of ESPN, the top rank is Bernard Hopkins, Jermaine Taylor, who beat him. 12 years later, Terence Crawford, Alexander Usyk a year later. Who else? Josh Saylor, Canelo Alvarez. Let's see, Jamel Charlo, Devin Haney, and A New Way to Monster. Those was the 9 guys that's universally recognized, outside of ESPN as the guys who were the undisputed champions in the 4-belt era. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not wrong about that. But I can just tell you this: hypothetically, he was. Now, whatever that means, what I'm trying to tell you is that Lomachenko never lost a title inside the ring. So he had that belt, and for business reasons, he didn't fight, I'm sure, Haney. And so they elevated him to the super champ. Haney obtained the belt. He fought. And he got beat by Lomachenko, or got beat by Lopez. Lopez. So hypothetically, he is, but in reality, because he didn't have the belt at the time and Haney was elevated, he isn't. You understand that? So he can go around and say, I'm the undisputed. I beat the man. I beat the man that beat the man. Lomachenko never lost that belt in the ring. And that's the reason why he can run with that title and say, I was undisputed champion. Hypothetically. Yes, he was. But in reality, he wasn't. The logistics, he wasn't. He wasn't the undisputed champion because he didn't have that belt when he fought him.
Well, technically he wasn't undisputed because he ended up losing to Teofimo Lopez anyways. He needed to end up losing Teofimo. Teofimo beat him.
Yeah.
Right. You get what I'm saying? So, okay. So casual boxing fans, trainers, promoters, and fighters such as Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, they all say in this era that belts don't matter. Even Leonard Ellaby and Floyd Mayweather say that as well. Do you feel that the sanctioning bodies like WBC and the WBA have watered down the value of what being a champion is all about today with the way they create belts out of thin air, very similar to what Mauricio Sulaiman did for Canelo Alvarez, created a French fries belt, and what he did for Lomachenko? But by them doing that, creating belts out of nowhere, allowing certain fighters to hold on to titles for 2 years without fighting, and certain fighters, if they don't fight in a certain amount of time, they get stripped. Do you feel that, meaning showing favoritism, do you feel that in this era that the sanctioning bodies, who I feel that are controlled by the power brokers in boxing, like the Top Ranks and the PBCs and stuff, do you feel that because of the politics and a lot of the business stuff that goes on in the background, that the belts, being the champion is overrated, it's watered down because of the quagmire that we have today with the Mauricio Sulaiman and the WBA and stuff like that, just creating belts out of nowhere? What say you about that?
Absolutely. I think it's definitely watered down, no doubt about it. I'm sick of all these new belts and stuff they created, but it's all to get a sanctioning fee. That's what it's about, is to get a sanctioning fee for the sanctioning body, and I'm sick of it. I'm also sick of, them not, understand this. I got stripped twice. Okay. Let me tell you how different it is nowadays. I got stripped twice when I was the WBC champion and WBO champion at the same time. The WBC stripped me after I beat, it was Kendall Holt. They stripped me. I have no idea why whatsoever, why they stripped me. I was willing to face whoever I needed to face, so on and so forth. They just said, well, we don't, you already have, you got to choose one belt. You got to choose one belt. So, and then they did it again. When I beat Devin Alexander, they did it again. They stripped me of my WBC title. And nowadays, you got a lot of guys that are holding on to these belts. And like you said, they're affiliated. They have a relationship built with the promoter, and each promoter has their sanctioning body that they affiliate themselves with. Of course, they affiliate with all of them, but they have better relationships with some more than the others.
Can you give me some examples?
So for instance, I'll give you an example. So you see a lot of the champions with the WBO. You see a lot of champions with Top Rank.
Right. Champions.
Even including the WBC at times. You see a lot of WBA champions, you're going to see PBC with them. IBF is, not sure where IBF is at, but I just know that that's what it is. I was a WBO champion for many years. I know Paco personally, cool guy, dope, one of the best organizations I feel. And I could be biased because that was my belt at the time. I really enjoyed that sanctioning body. Mm-hmm. But I think it's watered down. I think WBA is the absolute worst. I think they have so many damn belts that it's ridiculous. You don't know who the champion. How do you have 3 different weight champions in the weight class, in one weight class?
That
don't make any damn.
You say you think the WBA is the worst?
The worst, absolute the worst.
What about Mauricio Sulaiman? Well, it's to the discretion of the WBC that that we created this special.
The WBC used to be the best belt in the game. They were one of the first ones that started. They started this thing.
Well, the WBA was around before the WBC though. They used to be called something else.
But it was before. Yeah, the WBA was, but the WBC came in. It was the most prestigious belt because they changed the game. Mm. The WBC is the one that changed the game. I mean, from the 15 rounds on. I mean, they changed a lot of what goes on in boxing. So they were the prestigious belt. That was the belt that I was after. That was the belt that when I went in the gym That was the only belt that I saw on these champions was that.
Mm.
You know, all the pictures on the wall. You know, but since, you know, Papa Suleiman passed away, things has changed. The business has changed. The boxing game has changed. You know, and now these champions are holding on to these belts. You know, it's so easy. It's so easy nowadays to, you know, get a fighter to win a championship, you know, or for a vacant title, or fight for a vacant championship. It's so easy. You know, these guys are not earning anymore. So,
Tim, I know you got to go pick your kids up. So I have two more questions. I'm gonna let you go. I have to ask you this question. Terence Crawford. When I met Terence Crawford twice. I met him in Omaha, Nebraska twice, and I just left his gym not too long ago. Him, Bomac Red, all that stuff there. Bernie the Boss. So shout out to all the brothers over there. Saul, shout out to you guys. Crawford spoke about how you gave him his big break, you know, in the sparring session and stuff like that. You know, he was relatively an unknown fighter, and he said you gave him his big break when you guys sparred, and now he's a future Hall of Famer. Give the fans a backstory about how that materialized into where Terence Crawford is right now, the opportunity. Of course, he put the work in, of course, but it break that down for me, for people who don't know.
Well, first of all, I think I was getting ready for Devin Alexander, and then I had him for Pacquiao too. So I had him for two camps, but I was getting ready for Devin Alexander, and I was tip-top shape. I was sending everybody home. I was beating up everybody in the gym, sending them home. And I was running out of sparring partners. So I told my manager, Cameron Duncan at the time.
That was 2011? That was about 2011, right? Okay.
Yeah. And then so I called him up and I said, hey, I need a sparring partner, man. Like, I'm sending these guys home. Like, you know, I need somebody that's durable, somebody strong, somebody tough. And he was just like, well, I'll send Crawford. I'll see if he can come out. So got in contact with Crawford, his camp, whatever. He flew out by himself. You know, came in the gym. I seen him sitting in the gym. You know, he had these little plaits in his head, you know, very dark skin, you know, look kind of scrawny. He looked strong. You know what I'm saying? I already know, like, you know, certain builds. I'm like, yeah, he looks strong. Yeah. You know, very linky, quiet, didn't talk much, man. You know, he warmed up, got in the gym. We started working. We started sparring. And I was like, oh, my gosh. He was lighting me up. You know, every mistake I made, bing, 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 he was catching, countering the shit out of me. And I was like, my gosh. So,
that was 2011.
So after the sparring session, I'm like, yo, I sat there. I'm like, damn, bust a lip and all. I'm like, man, I was sending everybody home. I'm like, this dude just walked through me like nothing. I looked at him. I said, bruh, you ain't no sparring partner. I said, man, what's your name? And he was like, Terence Crawford. And I'm like, man, where the hell you from? He goes, Omaha, Nebraska. I go, bruh. I'm like, you ain't no sparring partner. You a world champion. And he was like, oh, you really think? I was like, man, you got the goods. Look, listen to me. Every time I would try to step it up, because that's what I would do. I would go half-ass, and then, you know, if they start getting the best of me, then I'll step it up. And if they start getting, you know, and then if they rise their game, then I rise mine. And I just kept rising my game. And I just kept trying to rise my game. Well, he rose his game. And I'm like, God, I was like, dang, this dude is different. Like, most guys would just crumble. Like, oh, you the champ, so I'm just going to lay down. He didn't lay down at all. He didn't take it easy on me. And I was like, oh, my God. So it went from there. So I immediately, after training, I took him back to his hotel. And better yet, he had no coach with him. Nobody would. Literally, they were giving him water, and that was it. He didn't have a coach telling him what to do. My coach sure as hell wasn't telling him what to do. And he just figured it out. And I'm just like, what the hell going on here? So then I immediately, like, I left the gym, dropped him off at his hotel, at his room. Boom, I get on the phone, and I'm like, Cameron. I'm like, yo, where does God come from?
Cameron Duncan?
Like,
Cameron Duncan?
Yeah, he goes, what, he's no good? You're going to send him home too? And I'm like, hell no. I was like, bro, when is this kid fighting? He was just like, what do you mean? I said, dude, what are you doing with him? And he was just like, well, nothing right now. He's kind of benched. He's, issues. He has issues outside of the ring, and so he's kind of benched. I'm like, bro, I was like, I'll buy him out of his contract right now. I said, how much you want for him? I'll buy him right now. And he was like, wait, hold up. I love Terence. What are you talking about? His tone changed real quick when I was telling him, like, bro, I was like, he dominated me in the sparring session. He goes, what? He goes, really? Yeah. So then, all right.
He didn't know what he had. He didn't know what he had.
He had no clue what he had, right?
Yeah.
Neither did Top Rank, right? So then I'm finished camp or whatever. I go through Devin Alexander. I beat him, whatever. Then I get a call, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think about Crawford and Prescott?" And I was like, Prescott who? The dude that knocked out Khan? Yeah. I'm like, oh, I was like, Crawford. I said, he'll box circles around him. I was like, he'll box circles around him. I said, he probably even stop him. And it was like, he goes, really? Really? And this is Cameron Duncan I'm talking to. He goes, really? You really? He's like, you're sure? I'm like, man, I promise you everything, whatever it is, I promise you. And I was like, man, I was like, yo, you still want to go 50-50 on Crawford? He goes, no, I'm fine. Oh, all right, cool. But anyways, before Crawford left the camp, that was the story right there, man. But before Crawford left the camp, I told Crawford, I said, man, you have something special. And I told him, I said, man, look, you stay on the right course. I said, stay out of trouble, stay out of the streets. I said, really live this. Keep your weight down, and opportunity's gonna present itself. I said, I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna call Top Rank. I'm gonna talk about you. I said, when the opportunity comes, I said, you got to make sure you shine, and then when it came, boom, man, the rest is history. And right after that fight, when I saw him fight Prescott, I announced to the world that day, I said, he's going to be the future pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. And he accomplished that. So, knew that kid was special. I knew that kid was special, man, because trust me, man, I was hell in the ring, man. You got to deal with more than just my punches. You had to deal with the head. You had to deal with my strength, my conditioning, and Crawford was able to deal with all of that. So I knew he was different.
That's when I think Midge Minor was his trainer at the time, right?
Who was that?
Midge. Was Midge his trainer?
Yeah.
The old man.
Nah, it was Bomac. I think it was Bomac because I think his trainer had passed away.
No, his trainer passed away in 2018.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it was both. It was Bomac. Okay. It was Bomac, I believe. Yeah, I think it was Bomac. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was Bomac, man. He would talk, and the crazy thing is about Crawford is that like every day he was different. So like I would come back the next sparring session, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get his ass now. Yeah, I know his weakness. Man, that dude was like a chameleon. Man, that same weakness, he just patched up. It ain't no longer a weakness. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, yo, you didn't do that yet last week. So then we would converse after the sparring session. I was like, man, hey, yo, do that move again, dog. Like, how'd you do that? How'd you know I was gonna do that? And he was like, well, you set up this way, and you see, what I'm saying? He started explaining. I'm like, wow. I'm like, dude, and again, no trainer there, nobody there. It was just him, and he was in the corner by himself. Yeah.
Hey, all right. So Tim, this it right here, man. I'm gonna name the names. This episode is called Name the Name. This is the last one. I'm gonna name the names, and I want you to say the first word that come to mind when I say these names.
Go ahead.
Shakur Stevenson.
The next pound for pound #1 fighter in the world.
Tank Davis.
Oh wow. The next, I would say the cash cow. Cash cow. I would say the next cash cow in boxing.
When you say next, you mean like on the level of Canelo or someone like Canelo?
Like, yeah, he gonna get there. Yeah, level of Canelo. Like he'll be making like the 40 million. He gonna be up there. He gonna make that type of money.
Woo! God damn, boy. Devin Haney.
Unappreciated, but a very talented fighter. I love his heart. I love his drive. And I just love his tenacity, man. I love the fact that he's willing to face the best, take on the best challenges out.
Keyshawn Davis.
Another pound for pound, top guy in the game. Will be there sooner than later. He's moving at a rapid pace. He should be fighting for a world championship no later than next year, mid next year.
Vasily Lomachenko.
Legend in the game. Got a lot of respect for him. On his last straw, I would say. This is going to be a defining moment right here. If he doesn't accomplish this feat, I believe that he may be done with the game.
Errol Spence.
A tremendous fighter. One of the toughest, I would say, one of the toughest welterweights out there. I would love to see him fight against Terence Crawford. I think it'll be a great fight. I think it's a tough fight for both guys. It's not an easy win for Crawford, although everybody knows that I'm with who I'm with at the end of the day. But I think it's still a very challenging fight for Crawford on many levels. But great fighter. That's why he's in my pound for pound.
So Canelo Alvarez.
Another great fighter. I think he is the face of boxing. Currently, the face of boxing. I don't think it's Tank yet. Canelo Alvarez is I think he's near the end. I really do. I think he's near the end. And I only say that because I think Father Time, I think the amount of money that he's made now, I think he's set. I think he's comfortable. I think he's set. And, I think his priorities are starting to change. So, but a great fighter, talented fighter. And we need a guy. We need a guy in the game like Canelo Alvarez.
Last one, Tim. Jermell Charlo, the current undisputed junior middleweight champion of the world. Love
Charlo. Think he's great fighter. Would love to see him fight more often. What else? His division is somewhat. I think his division is somewhat weak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's somewhat weak. I would love to see him, test the waters in another division, and see what he can accomplish there. But again, another brother, another good fighter, extremely talented and powerful, and I just want to see him continue to fight the best out there.
Timothy Bradley, Hall of Famer. Congratulations, man. I
appreciate you, man.
I really thank you so much for really taking the time out of your busy day to come on this show. When I saw you in the chat, I didn't think it was you because I get trolled a lot, so I thought it was a troll. But much respect to you, much love to you. I look forward to meeting you.
Yeah.
I will be at the Tank. I will be at the Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko fight next month. And man, it was an honor, man. I really appreciate it. Do you have any last words, parting words that you want to say to any of your haters, people who may hate you, people who may love you, or whatever the case may be? Anything you want to say?
Hey, you a hater? You may love me. You a fan. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna see what you're gonna want to listen to me and see what I got to say. So that way you can hate on it. So, but I love everybody, man. It's all good. I probably shouldn't say I love everybody because I really don't.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, I do love my fans out there, whether you're a hater or not. Appreciate the love. Appreciate you bringing me on the show, man. Yes, I do be in the comment section. I do be hitting back. Yes, I do be going at people. Yes, I'm real. I'm real with it. You know what I'm saying? And so if you do see me in the comment section, and if you say something out of line, I'm gonna try to check you.
I'm gonna make you a moderator.
Definitely gonna check.
I'm gonna make you a moderator so don't nobody try to block you. Hey, shout out to Timothy Bradley, man. Round of applause. Hey, Tim, thank you so much, brother. I will give you a call later on.
All love.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Round of applause, man. Round of applause, Timothy Bradley.
Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go.